You're listening to The Burning Truth. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, dude and dudettes. I am your host, Matt Burns, and with me, I have got somebody with me again. Would you care to introduce yourself?
Hi. Hi, everyone. How are you? I wonder if anyone remembers who I am.
What? I know who you are. John Ballore. You know, you're backed by popular
Indeed,
demand. You're backed by popular demand. My demand, of course.
Of course.
But the good news,
I'm happy to be here.
The good news is we've, we've been trying to organise this, get it all sorted, and the good thing about it is we're back. And just so you know, that we know this is being recorded for, this is actually being done on Sunday. But just to make everyone aware of this is actually a pre-recorded episode this week. Unfortunately, due to time constraints and time scheduling.
Unfortunate, but we've got the time now, so we are recording this on Saturday night, just before Takeover. But obviously, if you're listening to it on Sunday, just before the Royal Rumble, hi, it's Sunday, for all intents and purposes. How are you doing?
Correct. And the funny thing about it is we're going to be possibly mentioning some predictions and everything, so if, especially with the, the whole thing with NXT... seeing as it's
please bear in mind we are doing the predictions before the NXT show, so you can laugh at how bad they are when it goes out straight away.
Exactly. So when you lot are hearing our predictions, you'll probably be saying, "Oh, he nailed that one," or, "Good Lord, he was way off the mark on that one." Yeah. You can laugh at all.
How can he be so off? The event's happened. Yeah, it hasn't for us yet. So there you go. Bear that in mind.
Please bear in mind this is pre-recorded. But the good news is, we are back. We are, both of us are back, and just so you know, as well with this episode, let me just set one thing straight, in case anybody actually notices that both myself and John sound quite different, as though possibly one of us is possibly a bit more distant. One might sound like it's a phone conversation or like on a telephone. Let me just set the record straight. Both of us aren't actually in the same room.
No, due to the wonders of modern technology, we are recording this despite being a couple of 100 miles apart in the country.
Correct. Through the power of
great.
Through the power of the internet.
Indeed.
Of course.
So if it sounds like one of us is on a phone line, it's because, hey, guess what? I am.
And the good thing about it is, just so you know, don't worry. One of us doesn't have an expensive phone bill either.
Oh no, we've all got as many free minutes as we can possibly eat. It's all fine.
It's all good. But just to also state, with us mentioning predictions, a lot of people who actually do listen to us or listens to The Burning Truth or checks on The Burning Truth website, you'll probably notice that there's been no predictions on the blog section. The reason being is, one, we've been that busy, and two, I thought personally it was going to be a little bit difficult for me, instead of me doing my usual blog predictions, where you probably see what my personal thoughts are and views are, it's going to be a little bit more tricky to have both of our opinions on there on one post. So it was either that,
Indeed.
It was either going to be separate posts, which would be time-consuming, time wasting on both sides, or we can just basically do it on this episode.
And as we've established, time is something neither of us have had much of to spare this week, so we're doing the predictions now. Well, correct. I say now. What I mean is over the course of this episode.
Correct. And just to make you aware, I'm going to be mentioning something about UKWA a bit later, and you might have a bit of a big shocker or not. But
you might not. Let's see. But let's not spoil it now, eh?
Let's not spoil it now, but we'll discuss that a bit later.
So, yeah, we've got UKWA to come. We've got the Royal Rumble to come. But I believe we're going to start with what for you guys was last night's event. What for us is tonight's NXT TakeOver Phoenix.
Woo!
Yeah.
Now,
so, I believe they haven't done a takeover in Phoenix before. Would I be right in saying that?
that is correct. This is well, it's not Takeover Phoenix 2 or 3. It's the first time they've done it.
Which gives it a certain air of uniqueness. I mean, they do a takeover every year on excuse me, I'm getting ahead of myself, on Royal Rumble weekend, but as with the Rumble always being in a different place, so is Takeover.
I think it's all the same one now for this one, I think.
Oh, no, I mean, yeah, I just meant from one year to the next. They take it to different arenas, but Takeover and the Rumble are from the same arena every year. Yeah, sorry, get that straight.
No, it's fine. It's
cool,
fine.
right. So for anyone who has been keeping up, as I have, with NXT TV on the WWE Network, the show, well, it's not going to disappoint, is it? Let's be honest. Because it's been, 6 years now, and they haven't done a bad show yet. So the chances of this one bucking that trend and being awful,
please,
minimal.
Please don't curse them. Well, to be honest with you, if you actually look at the card top to bottom, it doesn't state that it's going to be a bad show at all.
No, it really, really doesn't. So,
NXT usually knock it out the park every time.
Absolutely.
And I can say, hand on heart, I absolutely thoroughly enjoy the NXT brand. That be either the UK or the main NXT brand. That it's entertaining as hell.
NXT UK has simply doubled the fun.
It's NXT's building its own brand, and it's amazing on how big
Absolutely. It is. It's fantastic. Right, so shall we go through the card and talk about the matches a little bit and then do some of those predictions, which will be already outdated for you lot listening tonight, which from your point of view is Sunday, but we need to do it anyway. So, do you have the card in front of you?
I have the 5 matches currently that is currently being mentioned potentially. There could be more.
Because of the top of my head, I can only remember 4 of them, but there you go. Let's go through them one by one, starting with the opening match, which logic to me would dictate is the Matt Riddle one.
Yes, which I believe is Matt Riddle versus Cassius Ohno.
2, a rematch from the last takeover.
Mm-hmm.
Which was a sort of extra match thrown onto the card last time. It was the opening match. It lasted 9 seconds, and I don't think it's spoiling anything this far after the event to say who won, is it?
Dread the thought. Let me just state this for a matter of fact. If you haven't seen NXT TakeOver War Games,
yes,
and you've been living under a rock,
yeah. Number one, where have you been?
Where have you been, and why haven't you watched it by now?
Exactly. So I won't mention the result directly, but needless to say, it is another match between 2 people whose rivalry, shall we say, began at TakeOver War Games. And I think it's going to go the same way.
So you're assuming that Matt Riddle's going to pretty much take one away from Cassius Ohno?
I think so, yes. Especially after what happened on NXT TV, where basically by cheating his socks off, Cassius Ohno got a win over Matt Riddle's good friend Keith Lee, and therefore I think Riddle will get revenge.
It's possible, but at the same time, Cassius Ohno could actually balance it out with the feud between them, so it makes it level pegging, so there could be a third.
Yeah.
But
that's just as possible, but I'm going to go with Riddle to win.
I'm going to go with Riddle to win because they seem to be very set on him.
Yes.
And also at the same time,
he seems to be their golden boy. Go on.
Yeah, and at the same time, have you seen the the Instagram post that Matt Riddle did?
Personally, I have not. If you are listening and you have, you've got one up on me. Please do tell me.
Let's just say There's a picture of where Cassius Ohno has got the jump on Riddle, and he's putting on the joke, you know, when your friends want to go out longer and you've had enough. And the image just looks like, you know, Matt Riddle's going, no!
I see.
But then literally putting in under, but seriously, Ohno, this was uncool.
Hmm.
You know, you are going to get it, bro.
Yeah, I think he is, to be honest.
Mm.
When did Cassius Ohno become such a spoil sport?
Ooh, we could say numerous times, but never mind. The funny thing about it is
anyway.
he seems to be doing this whole tirade against Matt Riddle in a very, very good way.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It's the build-up has been good for the match. It's definitely getting everyone a lot of interest in the newcomer, Matt Riddle, which is basically what it was designed to do, so that's cool. But yeah, I'm going to go for Matt Riddle to win. I think you're agreeing with me, aren't you?
I agree with you, but I'm not saying I'm happy about it.
I see, that's fair enough. Well, we'll discuss how happy or sad the result made you next week.
No,
which will at least partially be.
No, I can discuss a bit of it now. The reason why
Okay, go for it.
I'm not happy about it, because I know that Matt Riddle should be the one be going for the big win, which is fine and dandy. I just feel as though Cassius Ohno deserves a little bit more credit than what he has been given. Yes, he has been getting some victories here and there, but when it's coming to the big stuff, they seem to be sort of going, not today.
I'm aware of what you mean, which is why it's equally possible that I could be wrong and what you said could happen. He could win to set up the rubber match, as it were,
which
the third at the next takeover at WrestleMania.
Which would make me very, very happy, but I don't think that's going to be the case.
It wouldn't make me unhappy, yeah, but I don't think it'll be the case either. So.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be the case. I can see them pushing Matt Riddle and pushing that along.
Cool. Right, and what... I think we've pretty much covered that one. So what is match number 2 on the card?
I would say the following match would most likely be the singles match for the NXT North American Championship.
I'm guessing that would be the case, yes, between incumbent champion, the one and only Ricochet,
versus who we both dub as the MVP of
the man who truly deserves the nickname Man of the Hour instead of the person who uses that nickname, Mr. Johnny Takeover.
Mr. Johnny Takeover, Johnny Gargano.
Yes. A hotly anticipated match with some spectacular build-up.
Yeah.
Which has been executed to absolute perfection by all involved, including the crossover with the NXT title match and the participants in that on NXT TV. I think it's been executed flawlessly.
Correct.
And
the
build-up has done nothing more than made me want to watch it. Right, okay, so based on everything you've seen, what do you think the result of this one's going to be?
Dave Meltzer, where's your 5 stars?
Well, we know that, but it's going to be... I predict at least one fight forever chant from the crowd in this one.
And that'll be it. This will be the match.
Yeah. This will be the one.
As much
the main event will run it close, but I think this will be just like a quarter of a star better.
Yeah.
I agree. As far as the result goes,
result-wise,
thinking...
do you want me to go first? Because you went first last time?
Oh, yeah. I'll let you go first this time.
I think, in my heart of hearts, as much as I would love to see Johnny Gargano as a champion, Ricochet is going to retain.
Yeah. That's the same logic that I was going down. I was thinking Ricochet retaining possibly through shenanigans, leading to the rematch during at WrestleMania weekend when Johnny Gargano finally succeeds.
And claims.
That's a bit of a spoiler for ahead, and claims the championship. That's the way I think it's going to go. So I think possibly due to outside interference from someone, put two and two together, you can probably work out who. Ricochet retains tonight.
Yeah.
This is scary. We're agreeing on everything.
I thought we were meant to be disagreeing. Never mind. We may come to one where we disagree.
Yeah, 3 matches to go. There's a chance we'll disagree on at least one of them.
Yeah.
My opinion is the third match on the card will probably be the tag team title match.
Yep.
Which will pit incumbent, dominant, 2-time NXT tag team champions Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly, collectively the Undisputed Era.
The Undisputed Era versus War Raiders.
Rowan Hansen, the War Raiders. This match will be brilliant, but in a totally different way to the previous one, because it will be a war. It will be a slobber knocker of which JR will be proud. Anyone that's seen TakeOver War Games will know the hell these two teams are willing to put each other through, and I think it'll be more of the same.
And this one, I am not entirely sure which way it could go. It could go either way.
I know which way I'd like it to go, but which way it will actually go, I'm not 100% sure either. I'm going to base my prediction on which way I'd like it to go, but I'm perfectly willing to accept I could be wrong on this one.
All right. Then, with that, where do you think it's going to go then?
Here are your winners and new NXT Tag Team Champions, War Raiders.
As much as I want to agree with you, I can see Undisputed Era reigning undisputed and defending.
You see, the reason I'm thinking not is because the dreaded S word, shenanigans, will come into play massively in what will probably be the match before the North American Championship match, massively in the main event, and possibly in the next match on the card as well, with outside interference. So I'm thinking this will be one where they'll leave it alone and there won't be any. And in order for there to be plenty at the rematch at NXT TakeOver WrestleMania weekend, but I think the lack of it will play against Undisputed Era, who are kind of kings of retaining through that sort of thing.
They are going to have... It's going to happen. Shenanigans is going to happen.
Yeah, they're in the trouble. That's the trouble with this card. They're in danger of shenanigans overload.
Yeah, but I think it will be Undisputed Era who will
retain.
retaining.
Well, there we go. There's one where we do disagree. It remains to be seen. Those of you listening live on a Sunday, you'll already know.
You'll probably be laughing at one of us.
More than likely laughing at me, let's be honest. It's something I'm prepared for, but let's see. Either way, we know it's going to be a belter of a match because, well, these two teams can't really not have a good match, can they?
True. But at the same time, as much as I think War Raiders will be perfect to take them out, I just feel as though we need to be... I can't always be agreeing on everything, and secondly, as much as I can see them wanting to push War Raiders further onto the main roster card than the Undisputed Era, because as much as Undisputed Era are amazing and great and everything and doing brilliantly, I just feel as though they are getting a lot more done in NXT than they would on the main roster. Whereas War Raiders would be more suited on the main roster than...
I can completely understand your statement. I'm just looking forward to the matches that War Raiders are going to have on the main roster with, to name but one, AOP.
Come on.
AOP, yeah. Do you know that? AOP, machinery. Sanity. There's a very fertile ground, Heavy Machinery indeed. But that's getting ahead of ourselves. I think they've got mileage left in them in NXT yet, and whether it happens tonight, as I think it will, or not yet, as you think, they will wear championship gold at some point.
Correct.
In NXT, as well as in the main roster.
I agree
All right. That's pretty cool. Okay, moving on to match 4. I think we agree on the running order as well. I think the semi-main event slot will go to the NXT Women's Championship match.
Correct. Would you care to mention them?
Which will feature defending 2-time NXT Women's Champion. It's on the tip of my tongue. Brain freeze. What's her name?
Shayna Baszler.
Thank you. Against Bianca Belair.
I'm really sorry about this,
of
but
course.
Let me just say this. Shayna Baszler, just to let you know, that wasn't the Burning Truth or Matt Burns. That was John Belair. So if you want to take out any frustrations on him, please go ahead.
Hey, what? I didn't say anything derogatory. I just couldn't remember the poor woman's name.
Exactly. The fact that you couldn't remember the ace in the hole.
Well, come on. I was preoccupied thinking about the
beating that you might get.
EST of NXT.
So basically, you were actually terrified over it, more terrified of the beating that she might give to you.
I think that's a connotation that's entirely in your mind. But let's move on and stick to the match.
Let's stick to the match. But...
and your prediction for who you think was going to win, I think it's your turn to go first for this one.
It is. But the weird thing about this, before we get to the predictions, I think this is a very interesting dynamic.
Okay.
Because
I'm sure you're going to tell me why.
Because Shayna Baszler is being reigning and dominant. And
absolutely.
As much as I think I can see her potentially retaining, I feel as though at the moment she has taken it as far as she can with that championship and is ready for the next step.
In that, then, I think we're shock horror in agreement again.
I can see...
Although...
Go on.
I think we're going to disagree. No, go on. Finish your sentence first.
I can see I can see Belair coming in and catching Shayna off guard.
I can completely see where you're coming from, but I'm going to have to respectfully disagree.
The thing that's making me differ on this is because the fact is Belair seems to be regaining herself a bit of an undefeated streak.
She is indeed undefeated on NXT television.
Correct.
I don't know if you've noticed, she doesn't mention it much. Anyway, yeah, however...
Cheers for that. Punchline.
You're welcome. I tend to disagree with you, however. I'm thinking that the way it's going to go down tonight is, yet again, the S word is rearing its ugly head, some sort of shenanigans. I'm not sure. I'm thinking no finish, double disqualification, double count out, which will lead to no blemish on Belair's record and a rematch at WrestleMania NXT TakeOver when she will take the title, and that'll be the key for Baszler to move to the main roster.
So you're going for the long? You're going for the long shot there.
I kind of am, yeah.
Go for it. To be honest with you, I don't actually disagree with you on it. It's a good call.
Yeah, that's cool.
No, it's a good call because then that sort of protects both sides. But interesting thought pattern that is. Interesting thought pattern. But we'll stick with it. You're thinking draw somehow or shenanigans.
Yeah.
No DQ, both of them lose, but Shayna Baszler
retain, but nobody loses, or rather, Belair avoids losing.
And I'm going with Belair for the victory. Now, one thing I will stick with Belair is, god damn that hair whip.
Yeah, reminds me if I'm ever in the same room as her, never to annoy that woman because that's gonna hurt. There's no two ways about it.
It's going to hurt when she whips you with it, or her boyfriend, her husband, might kick your ass.
Well, there is always that, but I was just meaning say something to wind her up, annoy her. I wasn't taking it anywhere where he might have to get involved. But you know,
No, he will have to get involved because to pull her away from you.
This is an entirely hypothetical situation.
It's a hypothetical.
In which
I'm joking. I'm joking.
You're taking it too far. But hey, what do I know? I don't even know.
No, you wouldn't upset her. To be honest with you, John Ballore would not upset anybody. I'll just say it for the record. He'd probably get along with her. The entire roster would probably get along with him. All round guy. Because let me just state this: if he was a bad guy or just a wrong person, I wouldn't have him on the broadcast. Just to set the record straight.
Well, there we go then. Thank you very much. Honoured to have you think so. And honoured to have you on my side, as it sounds. That's cool. Yeah. Okay, so we disagree on that one again, which means we've got so far 2 matches about which we disagree on the result.
Which is interesting.
I wonder if the main event is going to be a third.
Is it going to be a third? We'll have to wait and see.
I'm not sure.
This match...
I'm sure by now you've worked out which match is the one that's left. It is, of course, the main event. For the rematch for the NXT
Championship, which is Tommaso Ciampa versus Aleister Black.
Ooh, nearly put my foot in my mouth and called him by his pre-WWE name there. Thank you for not letting me.
Oh, so I'm so happy. I'm so happy I could help.
Indeed. Yes. Tommaso Ciampa against Aleister Black in a rematch for the NXT Championship. In the match that, like I said, I think there'll be a quarter of a star difference, but won't quite be match of the night because of Ricochet and Gargano, but damn, it'll run it close.
Correct. I can see black masses, I can see vicious DDTs, I can see damnation unleashed.
Absolutely. Can I just say, just off the record and veering, it's on topic, but it's also kind of off topic.
What?
Tommaso Ciampa might possibly be my new favourite for entrance music in NXT.
Oh, awesome music, awesome music.
Especially from the very beginning, where you think, what is Taz back? And then you realise who it is. It's just an awesome tune from top to tail.
It's almost like he's paying homage to him.
It would seem so, yeah. Not that I wish in any way to take away from Aleister Black's music, which is, of course, equally awesome. In fact, most of the NXT roster have awesome music. That seems to be a running theme. They do quite well with that. But pick of the bunch at the moment for me is Tommaso Ciampa's.
Definitely. And I'll just state this: please, NXT, keep that the great music going, please, and thank you.
Yeah, I really enjoyed when he was the absolute despicable heel doing the feud with Gargano when he didn't have any music. I thought that worked, but
it's genius.
Now that he's got some, he's got genius. A brilliant piece of music, so it works for everyone.
Exactly, it's clever booking how they've done it. Now,
indeed.
Now, let's see where we're going to go with this.
Where we're going to go with this? Is it my turn to go first? Just before I jump in and do it anyway?
Or shall we both go for it?
Okay, basically, I reckon we should both just say the noise mess on the count of 3.
Whoa. Apologies for the break-up there. We just had a possible technical difficulty. If anybody had heard any crackling then, we do apologise. It just seems like a bit of the software has just had a bit of a crackle. So we do apologise.
The software hiccuped, but we've given it a glass of water and all should be well now.
We haven't given it a glass of water because if we're giving it a glass of water, I think that will short the machine out.
Metaphorically speaking.
Not literally.
Metaphorically speaking. Of course not, no.
Let's go with it.
Anyway, yeah, so what do you think? On the count of 3, simply state the name of the person you think will win.
I agree.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Tommaso Ciampa.
Ciampa. Agreement in the building. In fact, in both buildings, because as we earlier stated, we're not in the same one. Correct. We both think Ciampa will retain. And that's interesting, because I genuinely didn't think you would.
I would. And there's a good, solid reason why.
If your solid reason is anything like my solid reasoning, which is they're itching to call Aleister Black up to the main roster, and keeping him on NXT another 6 months with a second title reign would derail that. That's my thinking anyway. I'm wondering if yours is the same.
Potentially, and the funny thing about it is, regardless of whoever loses could potentially be going up. And as much as I would love to see Tommaso Ciampa going up to the main roster, I can see Aleister Black going up there a lot sooner than Tommaso Ciampa.
Absolutely.
But I think what Tommaso Ciampa has been doing on it, NXT, has been absolute gold. Run with it.
It would be foolish to bring it to an end prematurely just to call him up. I completely agree. Whereas Aleister Black has had his time as a dominant champion. He's had an injury. He's come back better than ever, and now seems to be the perfect time for me to call him up. So
correct.
I think we're thinking on the same lines.
Correct. He's in a perfect alignment. He's got, after this feud with Tommaso Ciampa, he's got nothing left to having to deal with, and be able to get called up. Possibly 9 out of 10 times, a big part of me is expecting him to go to SmackDown. I
was actually thinking the same as well. I can't think possibly why.
Why's your reason?
It's on the tip of my tongue as well.
What's your reason? Any idea?
Do you know what? My mind's gone blank. I'm sorry, I can't remember. I had one, and it's like when I was trying to think of Shayna Baszler's name. I just couldn't. My mind's completely gone blank. So you go first.
I'll say both of them. One, I think he will fit far better on the SmackDown roster because of the fresh talent that seems to be on there, and there seems to be getting things really done well. And having such a good striker on there would be absolutely fantastic. And if I'm not mistaken, the SmackDown brand is mostly does actually have Taker popping up on there quite a bit. But the other reason is to possibly spend some time with his wife.
Now, you see, I thought that was the reason as well, but I wasn't sure how much that was common knowledge. But if it is, fair enough. Yeah, that's the other reason I thought as well, is, a sort of family reunion, as it were.
Exactly, and the funny thing is, it might not be world known, but both of them have actually shown clear indication that they are married. They have shown it.
Yeah. Well, let's keep everyone on the edge of their seats by not mentioning who we're talking about, and let's let them popular internet search engine it and find out for themselves. But clue, she's on SmackDown.
Correct. Big clue. She's on SmackDown. And let me just state, she's not the man.
No.
It's not Becky Lynch.
No, indeed.
Just to state that. But the good thing...
But let's just leave it there for now.
We'll just mention it. We have actually mentioned who his wife is on a previous episode. So if anybody wants to check that out, you can find that out. I believe it was the last time.
Please. 2 weeks ago, I believe so, yes.
I mentioned it, but yeah. That is our predictions, top to bottom.
For what promises to be, or if you're listening on Sunday, what has been, I'm sure, another 5-star NXT TakeOver card.
Well, you'll most likely be listening to this on the Sunday because this is when it will be getting released. But, for ourselves, it'll be an absolute stellar card for us to watch. For anybody who's listening again, it probably has been an absolute stellar card. And at least one or maybe, who knows, both of us could be wrong on the predictions and we've both messed up badly. Somehow.
Let's face it, that's quite likely.
Potentially. But anyway,
right, okay, that's cool.
Let's go from NXT TakeOver to one of our main subjects
this evening, which is the show which is happening tonight from the point of view of the podcast.
Correct, which
will be the 32nd annual WWE Royal Rumble.
Wow. Absolutely amazing, and I can also say this event is going to be absolutely top to bottom, absolutely astounding, and What's so interesting is some of the quick changes that have happened on it, and they've also got one or two matches where it's thrown me off guard.
Oh, I see. Okay, well, I will freely admit I don't know as much about the Royal Rumble itself as I do about the TakeOver card, because I watch NXT far more than I watch the main roster. However, I've seen bits here and there. I'm aware of what's happening, and yeah, I've been thrown off guard a couple of times as well.
The weirdest thing about it is, for me, I can't actually. There's one of the Rumble matches I can't actually predict.
Yeah. I genuinely can't predict. You mean one of the actual Royal Rumble matches itself?
Correction. Both Royal Rumble matches, I can't predict them straight off the bat.
I can literally pick a name if you give me a list of who's in it, but it'll literally just be, I like the sound of them winning it. It will have no scientific basis, and let's face it, there's a 1 in 30 chance that it's right, so it's about 29 in 30 that's going to be wrong, so it will probably be wrong. I can't predict it. It's that's how good it is, because, hey, no one likes a Royal Rumble where you go into it going, yeah, it's boring. Mr. X is going to win like he always does, or like she always does. So the unpredictability can only be seen as a good thing.
It is, and there's one name within it. I want to win on the female side. For the men's side, damn, anybody can win it.
Yeah, and pretty much any of them I'll be happy with as well.
But
on the male side, at least.
But my prediction is going to have some form of understanding behind it, and I
see.
I've got an idea who I'm considering to pick, and it's going to be interesting to hear me input on it. But
I'm sure we will get to that in due course. But first of all, we have to do all the other predictions before we get to the main events, which will be the Royal Rumble matches themselves.
Which we'll hold off the Royal Rumbles and make them the last two.
Yeah, exactly. That's cool.
And we shall discuss the pre-show matches.
Oh, that's cool. Let's do that. Remind me again, and remind the listeners at home what they are.
Now, straight off the bat, I am going to hit off with the Fatal 4-Way match for the WWE Cruiserweight Championship, which has...
That's going to be one hell of a match.
That it is, and it's currently got Buddy Murphy, who is the reigning defending champion, against Akira Tozawa. Apologies for the mispronunciation. Please don't kick my ass.
It's okay.
Versus Hideo Itami. Versus Kalisto.
Versus Kalisto. Now, I have a prediction of who I think is going to win this, and I have a reason behind it, but I'm expecting it to be different to yours.
Mine is, as much as I think all three of them are great, I feel as though Buddy Murphy hasn't had that much of a long reign, and he will be defending, but he seems to be doing something a little bit unique, but unfortunately, because it's only on the pre-show, it's not getting the rant and raves it needs.
Absolutely. I agree completely, and I'm hoping that in future the Cruiserweight title matches will be moved onto the main show. I'm not sure what swapping it around with, but it needs the main show coverage because they're always stellar matches. But I disagree with you about who I think is going to win, so there you go.
Who do you think?
Because I think the current champion is in a field with three guys. One of them has never held the Cruiserweight Championship before, and I think tonight is his night.
Actually, two of them haven't.
One of them hasn't.
Oh, there are two of them.
As for the best of my knowledge, it's only one. Everyone else has been a Cruiserweight champion at least once before in that field, including the current champion. Positive.
Let me just check this.
Well, anyway, just in case everyone at home has guessed, I predict that the one man, as far as I'm aware, who has yet to be Cruiserweight champion will become so tonight, and that is Hideo Itami, because he's been on a stellar tear of late, and I think that WWE are going to do a bit of trading backwards and forwards between him and Murphy over the coming months, where they might both win the title a number of times, because, let's face it, they're both on top of their game at the moment. And Itami deserves a bit of respect. Ooh. Well, yeah, as he'll tell you himself if you ask him.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, everyone else in the match has been Cruiserweight Champion at least once.
Wow, I apologise, yes. He has.
Yeah, Akira Tozawa has briefly, thanks to the machinations of Titus O'Neil. Yeah. I think it was only for 10 days, but he has.
7.
Yeah, there you go.
It was closely 7. Is it 7? It's about 7 or 6, yeah. No, 6, actually. 6 days. And, wow, I did not expect that. My apologies.
Well, there you go.
I've just been schooled in my own knowledge, in my own field of knowledge. Got to give.
Well, there you go. Hey, my field of knowledge too. So if between us we can't get it right, we're in trouble.
Definitely, definitely.
All right, that's cool. So yeah, I'm predicting a win for Hideo Itami. You're predicting Buddy Murphy to retain.
Correct.
Awesome. Right. So which of any of the matches that could have been chosen is the other one to have been bumped to the undercard, to use the pre-90s parlance?
This one is going to annoy me more than anything, to announce this as on the undercard. Because...
now you've got my mind racing as to which match it is. And because I'm thinking all the ones that it can't be.
The reason why is because it is another title match.
Yep.
It is for the WWE United States Championship.
And that's on the pre-show? Really?
That's on the pre-show.
Okay.
And that is...
Makes me think they've either got a stacked card or they just... yeah, they need to think that through a little better.
They have got a massively stacked card. I'll give them that. I will give them that. But you've got Rusev versus Shinsuke Nakamura.
Two talents that are just main event talents, to be honest.
Main event talent, especially Rusev being so damn well over.
Rusev is possibly the most over guy on the roster. I mean, Nakamura is pretty damn over considering his current mindset, where he doesn't really give a monkeys if you care about him or not.
Correct. And I think Nakamura's been playing up to this heel, being vicious and everything, is interesting.
I agree. Again, I think there's mileage in this feud. I don't think it'll be over tonight.
I can see what you mean. I can see what you mean.
Yeah.
But the disappointing thing that annoys me more than anything about this is the fact that it's almost like as though, Shinsuke doesn't have the title, so let's just bump it down. And they've now got Rusev, who's the champ. What's upsetting is the fact that Rusev has worked his ass off, get over the crowd, naturally.
Yeah.
Not, naturally has got over the crowd.
He's not been forced on anyone. He's made himself a fan favourite, and that's something that should be applauded, to be honest.
It should be. But I feel as though each time anybody does this naturally, or the crowd turn them naturally into what they want, that WWE seem to go, right, you made him face against our will, we're going to break you.
It seems to be what has become known industry-wide as Zack Ryder syndrome.
Which is massively unfortunate because...
It really is.
They've got somebody who is well and truly over, and I feel as though they're not treating it with the respect that they've given to the other championships. Now, the interesting thing about it is, yes, it was interesting that he won it on I believe it's New Year or Christmas Day. He won it on Christmas Day. He won the championship on. Wow, what a day to win it on!
Wow, impressive. Hang on, you mean he won it on Christmas Day and Rusev Day?
Correct.
Holy moly. That's one hell of a day.
That's one hell of a day. But the interesting thing about it is he's over as hell, and they're not pulling the trigger on Rusev. And I feel as though Rusev, as much as Rusev has been playing a villain and he was great, when Rusev started to do the whole Rusev Day and everything, he is showing a lot of personality. Now, when he was the undefeated Bulgarian brute and everything, he was absolutely devastating, top of the range, but then he dropped lowered and he became more, not as serious. Now, he's not as serious, but at the same time, people can actually connect more with Rusev. As much
Absolutely.
as I know a lot of people might state the whole angle with Aiden English probably wasn't the best, but it humanized.
Probably not.
It humanized Rusev so people could get behind
Absolutely,
him
which was
more.
Very badly needed because it gave people reason to cheer for him a lot more.
And it also shows that it's okay to have sympathy for him because he is actually a likable person. He's awesome.
He is, yes. He absolutely is, which means I think that the result is not going to be one that you're going to particularly enjoy.
No,
at least that's my opinion.
No, not happening, not happening.
Well, go on. What do you predict?
Rusev. He is defending.
You predict Rusev to retain?
Yep.
No, actually, so do I. Instead of what I think in an ideal world should happen, which is Nakamura wins and it propels Rusev up the card into the main event picture, I think there's more mileage in him. I think there's also argument for there's more mileage in him as US champ, so maybe he should retain.
He should.
And I'm thinking that's what's going to happen, actually.
He should, because he had a good reign with it previously. Why not?
He is now a 3-time United States champion. Yeah,
he is a three-time United States champion.
Thank you, Booker Burns.
I was thinking more DDP Burns.
To each their own. Anyway, yeah. So do we both agree that we think Rusev will retain tonight?
Correct. And
awesome.
interesting side note. Just to point out, have you actually noticed where Aiden English has gone to now?
Yes. Spoiler alert for those of you who may not know, he made his debut this last week as the third commentator on 205 Live, which is an interesting sideways move. As Vincent Mann likes to say, keeping things fresh. That's definitely doing that. I can't say I can think of precisely one person that might have seen that coming.
I didn't see that coming myself, and
that would be Vince McMahon.
And the interesting point
I definitely didn't see it coming.
I didn't see it coming, but the good thing about it is he will be absolutely talented on there and be absolutely amazing. But anyway, unfortunately, I think we are going to have to start rushing through some of the predictions because we've got a lot of topics to discuss.
Absolutely, yeah. We're going to have to pare it down a little bit. Okay, so if you just run through the matches in the order that they appear or that we think will appear on the card, we'll just go through the predictions. I'm just going to mention boldly as we can.
I'm just going to mention the matches and just so we can get through them quickly. Tag team match for
that's cool.
Tag team match for the WWE SmackDown Tag Team Championship, which is the Bar, Cesaro and Sheamus versus The Miz and Shane McMahon.
I'm thinking the Bar to retain due to dissension in the ranks between Miz and Shane. Two egos that big can't coexist.
I can see Miz and Shane winning it.
Well, I can see either winning, but I'm going for my prediction based on what I would like, to be brutally honest. So there you go.
I think I can see that, but you know what? No, I'm going to disagree because of another thing that's popped into my head. I can see the Bar winning it, especially because of the whole Daniel Bryan storyline. More on that later.
Yes.
In regards to
more to come on that shortly. Yeah.
More on this discussion in regards to the Miz a bit later on when I mentioned the prediction for WWE Championship. But anyway,
indeed.
I see the
But
bar.
for now, I'm going to say the bar to retain.
Bar to retain, but the way they've been building it up has been absolutely hilarious. I think the dynamic between the Miz and Shane McMahon has actually been absolutely brilliant. And the funny thing about it is, I could see the face team building up from since Crown Jewel. The Miz.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. And shall we
Wonderful,
move on?
right.
Shall we move on?
Yes, to the next match.
Let's move on to singles match for the WWE Raw Women's Championship, which is defending Rowdy Ronda Rousey versus
against
the Boss, Sasha Banks.
Now, I have a whole scenario in my head of how I would like this to play out in the coming months, me being creative, playing Booker, as you do. But I don't think it's going to happen. So, as unlikely as my plans are, I think it's going to happen. I'm going to go for champ to retain on this one.
Champ to retain, Ronda Rousey, and there's supposedly speculation that Sasha Banks is asking, I believe, the Revival to take her with her on social media, supposedly. But that's only rumoured speculation on if that's true or they're just having a laugh with the online social media stuff. I think that's more the case.
Either is equally possible. I think we should just watch and find out.
Let's watch
Anything's
and find
possible,
out.
But I think you're probably right.
I think Ronda Rousey will be more likely to be defending, but at the same time, it's a big part of me saying, shame really, because the next match, what follows, is probably taking a little bit away from one of the matches. But anyway, let's just stick to it. Ronda Rousey to
retain. Yeah, I think we agree on that one.
Next match, singles match for the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship, which will pit the reigning defending champion Asuka versus the Man, Becky Lynch.
Yeah, now, this one, there's only really going to be one winner here, isn't there?
I like Asuka.
She's done nothing wrong. She's perfectly good. She's done everything they've asked of her. She's carried the title for a very short space of time. But I think, cometh the hour, cometh the man. Becky Lynch right now, she's not called the Man for no reason. And I think the momentum swing she's on is going to take her all the way.
I'm sorry to say this, but I have to agree.
Unfortunately, it doesn't create much tension, I know, but you agree.
I'm joking. A big part of me, I almost considered Asuka. But I can't see it any other way. There's
the possibility that she may retain to lead on to a rematch at WrestleMania.
True.
But that's only an outside bet. I'm thinking not, no. I'm thinking that if there is a rematch at WrestleMania, it will be Asuka's rematch clause, to be honest.
True, but it's unfortunate because I feel as though if Asuka defends, at the moment there's the speculation rumour of Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch. How's that going to work?
Yeah, but to be honest, I think they're going to do that. I think they're going to keep that for the future. If it doesn't happen at WrestleMania weekend, then there is another event, which only happens once a year, which pits Raw against SmackDown, that traditionally occurs in November.
True.
Which that may be where they have that happen. I am, of course, talking about Survivor Series. But I think we need to move on. But are we agreed then? We think it's the man's night.
Will do. I think Becky Lynch will be successful.
As do I. Cool.
Now, leading
on.
we've now got to get to one of the main championships, which is for the singles match for the WWE Championship match, which is pitting Daniel. No, correction. The new Daniel Bryan versus
against
AJ Styles.
The new Daniel Bryan versus the same old, because if it ain't broke, damn, don't fix it, AJ Styles.
He works. He works so hard.
I'm not sure where to go with this one, because I kind of think they start getting a bit iffy with the reasoning for another match if Bryan retains again, but I can't see them putting the whole weight behind Daniel Bryan and the new Daniel Bryan and the character that he's got just to have him have such a short reign, unless, like I've mentioned a couple of times to other people before, they're planning to hotshot the title between each of them a few times over the course of the coming year.
Possible.
So I'm thinking Champ retains in this one as much as I would like the opposite to happen.
Are you ready for this?
Yep.
My theory, Daniel Bryan to retain, and it's all because of certain dark matches that have been happening recently. It's other live events, because they've actually
this is knowledge you have which I actually don't. So please enlighten me.
They have actually been teasing up having a match between Daniel Bryan versus The Miz.
Ooh, I see. You mentioned earlier that we were going to come back to The Miz, and now we are. I see.
And the funny thing about it is, that's going to be an interesting dynamic straight away there, because them pair have always been Daniel Bryan goody, Miz hated. It's going to be weird seeing it the other way around.
Incredibly odd seeing it with the boot on the other foot, yes, especially bearing in mind, through most of their WWE run, Daniel Bryan has basically been 101 on WWE good guy, and The Miz has basically had the monopoly on how to be a bad guy.
Pretty much.
To see them in the opposite roles is going to be interesting.
Could not disagree with you at all.
Fantastic. So, and we both don't disagree that we think for now Bryan to retain. So that doesn't mean AJ is out of the title picture forever. It just might be for a little bit.
Might be just for a little bit, but let's move on, shall we?
Yeah. Right, cool. How many more matches are there? Is there just the 2 Rumbles and the next match? Is that it?
Correct.
The next match, which is, I believe, by power of elimination for the WWE Universal Championship.
That is correct, and it will be, having pitted the match against
the reigning and defending Raw Universal Champion, Brock Lesnar.
Versus...
That is possibly the worst Paul Heyman impression you'll ever hear. Thanks.
Versus Finn Balor. And
versus the first ever Universal Champion.
Correct. And supposedly...
A lot of people forget that.
Yeah, they do. And a lot of people...
Because he was forced to relinquish it with injury after just one day.
True. But at the same time, a lot of people are expecting the Demon to turn off. But Finn Balor has gone on record to state that he is not going to be the Demon, but the man that's going to be pinning Brock Lesnar.
I see. This is interesting because, on paper at least, this is on a par with a certain match from 15 years ago, which, conveniently, for the sake of logic, also featured Mr. Brock Lesnar. And I think he's going to go the same way, funnily enough.
Carry on.
For those of you who are not sure, I'm, of course, referring to the 2004, I believe it was No Way Out.
No Way Out.
WWE Championship match between Brock Lesnar and the late, great Eddie Guerrero. Lesnar being the much bigger man, expected to dominate and win easily, in spite of the best efforts of the beloved smaller crowd favourite. But
Wow.
that isn't what happened. And I'm thinking that it's going to go down a very similar path tonight.
I don't.
Oh, okay, cool. A bit of dissension is always a good thing.
I don't.
You don't think that at all, but that's fine.
I don't, because I can see Brock Lesnar going for the win. Very much so. And the biggest thing here is more so for the fact that the whole storyline with Braun Strowman hasn't properly manifested or finished yet. And
I am of the opinion, however, that doesn't necessarily need a championship. But this is my thinking behind why I've said what I'm saying. But
True.
You perhaps think it does, and that's why you think Lesnar's going to retain. That's fair enough.
Potentially.
That's the beauty of it.
But
either way works.
There's a
but.
but.
We shall see which way it goes down.
There is a but, because I can actually see it still going the same way you think, of Brock versus Lesnar being a non-title match. There is a reason behind it.
And I'm sure you're going to tell me what that is.
Which is speculation, which part of it I will be telling you in regards to this match, and the other part I'll be explaining it in the men's Royal Rumble match.
Ah, okay.
Because the funny thing about it is, as much as I would love Finn Balor to win this, I feel as though Brock Lesnar is going to be reigning defending until WrestleMania, because that'll be more close to when he's got, more of his end of his contract dates and everything, and he's supposed to be coming to a fight for UFC. So they're going to want to keep that championship on him as much as possible. I can see Brock Lesnar winning, defending. And the funny thing about it is, a lot of people are going to say, "But poor Finn Balor." Yes, he is going in as the man. So, but here's the thing: a loss for Finn Balor isn't going to damage him too much. He will rise back up them rankings and still get his fair shot. However, I can see Brock Lesnar getting the win only because of my person who I see winning the Rumble match, wanting to take on the Beast.
I see. Well, that's a little subtle clue as to who you think that might be, but we'll come back to that shortly. So you disagree for this match. I think the fairy tale will come true and Balor will win. You think Lesnar will retain.
Yep.
Which moves us on to the main events.
Plural,
because there's two of them.
What we will do is we'll go for the 30 women's Royal Rumble match.
30-woman Royal Rumble match.
Correct.
Which I genuinely don't have a clue. I could not call who is going to win this. I know who I'd like to win it, but I'll be brutally honest, I don't even know if they're in it.
Right, so officially, I'll mention them all. I'll mention who's got number 30, guaranteed. Which is
I know who's got number 30. That's Carmella because of the Mixed Match Challenge.
Correct.
I am aware of that.
We have got Ember Moon, Natalya, Bayley, Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, Sarah Morgan, Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, Alicia Fox, Selena Vega, Naomi, Mickie James, Billie Kay, Peyton Royce, Charlotte Flair, Tamina, Dana Brooke, Lana, Nia Jax, Nikki Cross, Lacey Evans, and Alexa Bliss.
Well, one of those you have named is the one that I think is going to win.
Same with me.
And as I've said, it's based on nothing more than who I would like to win.
Go on then.
It's not based on any particular, recent form or anything like that. And that would be Bayley.
Ooh.
Solely because I think it's about time she was reinserted in the title picture, and that's a good way to do it.
I'm sorry, I'm going to have to disagree.
Good, I hoped you would. Who do you think is going to win?
I can see a return, as currently she's actually on the injured list and is making her return at the Royal Rumble. She is massively over.
Does make absolute sense from a momentum standpoint. Okay, go on. Who are you going for?
Even when she's been such a brilliant villain. Alexa Bliss.
Do you know what? I just said Bayley because, I would like it to happen. I can see Alexa Bliss happening, and if it does, I would not be disappointed.
I can see Alexa Bliss more so for the fact anything she's been touching lately, she's hitting on
turned
gold.
To gold. And I think I overheard someone that I know who likes wrestling refer to her recently as Alexa Miz because she's so naturally good at being a bad guy that she might take after him. And it's true, she is. But like I say, even so, I wouldn't complain if she won. You're quite right. I would not object to that.
Yeah, and do you want an interesting little fact, by the way? An interesting fact
Go
on Alexa Bliss. Do you remember when she first debuted her outfit that was similar to a certain Suicide Squad?
I vaguely remember that. Yes, it's only stamped, imprinted indelibly all over my memory, yes.
Supposedly, that did not have the stamp of approval from WWE.
Ooh.
She actually did
that. That's
the
first I've heard of that.
She actually did that supposedly off her back. It could have been a very, very risky move that could have cost her. It hasn't. It's actually, in fact, got her more. They actually ended up finding out she found out they liked it, run with it, and thought it was absolutely brilliant. And she is. If anybody did actually follow her story, please look it up because some of the facts that you've got on her life is absolutely astounding. Because all I'll say is
they truly are.
Bodybuilding saved her life.
Absolutely. That's something for you to do after you finish listening to us tonight is to, obviously, just quickly, and then properly after you've watched the Royal Rumble, look that up because, trust me, you'll not regret it. He's quite right.
Definitely. But anyway, let's get on to the men's Royal Rumble match.
I say the main event, but only because it has been traditionally. I don't know. I've got a feeling they might put the women's on last this year.
Possibly.
Either way, the men's Royal Rumble, that's what we're going to predict now. I have absolutely only got one name in my mind for who's going to win this.
Right. Would you like me to mention who's on the card first in the Rumble match?
Yeah, please do. Please do.
So officially, so far, so good. Right now, we have R-Truth, who has won the mixed match challenge and is able to enter number 30. We've got Drew McIntyre. We've got Big E, Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, Seth Rollins, with Jeff Hardy, Dean Ambrose, Bobby Lashley, Samoa Joe, John Cena, Elias, Baron Corbin, Jinder Mahal, Apollo Crews. Hang on.
Rey Mysterio.
CN Almas Andrade, but they're now just calling him Andrade. Mustafa Ali, Rey Mysterio, Titus O'Neil, Randy Orton.
Now, you see, the name that I thought was going to win it isn't in that list.
Ooh.
Unless I missed it.
Go on, then.
I'll give you a hint. He has previous experience of winning matches like this.
You're thinking Braun?
Sort of. I'm thinking Mr. Strowman.
This is where I'm going to catch you off guard. You thought I was going to say Strowman as well.
Well, to be honest, I can't think who else you would have said. I know one person who I think you might say, but I'm 99.99% certain they're not going to win it.
Who do you think I'm going to say?
Well, let's just put it this way. For those of you who are aware that this is an audio production and therefore can't see me waving my hand frantically in front of my face.
Nope, definitely not.
Well, like I said, I know he won't win, but I just thought you might say it. No, go on. So who are you going to say?
Seth Rollins.
Interesting. No, you see, no, I don't think he will, for the simple reason there's more mileage in his feud with his former Shield teammate There
is supposedly more mileage.
As there's already a title involved in that, I can't... Well, unless it becomes like the modern-day Hogan versus Warrior, where it's title versus title, which is feasible, if not likely.
True, but take into account that Dean Ambrose is no longer the Intercontinental Champion anymore.
Oh no, that's true. That's very true.
Bobby Lashley is.
You're quite right. Bobby Lashley is, yeah.
But at the same time, the reason why I think it's more likely to be Seth Rollins is because, one, I feel as though Seth is going to get onto the anger of Triple H again somehow, and Triple H is going to be back in the beast.
I see. No, I'm with you. I can completely understand that.
The other reason why I think it'll be Seth is because who was originally planned to take the championship off Brock Lesnar? Roman Reigns.
Yes.
Now,
I can see where you're coming from with that.
What
absolutely.
Better person to take it from Lesnar than Seth fricking Rollins?
Well, no, I can totally understand your thinking, and that makes sense. No, I don't think that will happen, but yeah, I can totally see where you're coming from with that.
Yeah.
The other person who I thought about, who in an ideal world, if WWE were to properly take a risk, who I don't think will win it, but who may make a bit of a splash tonight.
Go on.
Might be a certain debuting former NXT superstar. I'm thinking that this year's Royal Rumble may very strongly be Lars Sullivan territory.
Possibly.
As I say, I don't think he'll win, but
No.
Go on a tear, eliminate half a dozen people, and announce himself on the main roster with style is not beyond the realms of possibility.
That would be.
And in fact, I'd like it to happen. Since they've been...
That would be an interesting way to do it, but that's our predictions for the Royal Rumble. However, due to time constraints, some of the subjects that we originally planned, we are going to save till next week.
That's cool. Yeah, wow, I've just looked at the clock. Yeah, we have gone on for a long time.
We have gone on for a lot longer than we anticipated. But anyway, what I am just going to state is originally last week we were going to be discussing certain matches for UK Heavyweight 0 Hour, but we're not going to be discussing that. Instead, what we're going to be discussing is two topics currently at the moment, which is one of them is, well, both subjects you might not know officially about yourself. One of them being the fact that World of Sport have been doing plenty of touring, and they were actually in Stoke-on-Trent last night.
And a certain front row seat was reserved with the name M. Burns.
I wouldn't say I was actually officially front row. I was close enough to meet the stage. I was
picking you up there. Okay.
No. But either way, wow.
Wow.
What a show.
Yeah, this has been a rather WWE heavy show, and we have to announce, of course, while it is the premier company, it's not the only one.
It's not.
And you were thoroughly impressed by the sounds of it. You have been enthusing about it for a long time before we started tonight.
Yeah, the funny thing about it is, what's so weird, a lot of people say, oh, it was expensive, oh, it's this, it's that. Here's the thing. I watched that match, and I watched that entire show, and not a single match of it was bad. Not a single one. The production was spot on. The matches were spot on. The matches went the way the crowd were, ooh, oh, boom, bah.
My only issue with that, I mean, I'm glad that everything's going well for them. The tour's going well. The matches are good. My only issue with that is, if they can do that, why was the TV show so lackluster?
I think it's because of I think my personal view on the TV stuff is the fact that they keep doing the camera switches a lot too much, and I feel as though it takes your focus away from the wrestling from time to time. Which if they did less camera transitions and camera switches, you'd probably enjoy it more. Now, with me, because I was able to sit down and watch this match, for, however I wanted to watch it, absolutely brilliant.
Oh no, I completely understand. I can possibly agree with you, but like I say, it's looking likely that it will, if the ticket sales are going well and everything's happening. The TV show returns for a second season. I think it'll benefit a lot from them learning what they've learned from the live shows. True. And having done it, got a year under their belt, and I think it will be infinitely better. Judging by what you thought of the matches, if they can keep the same crew on board, it absolutely will be.
And the funny thing about it is, a lot of the guys that were actually on the show were ones from the TV show as well. And the card itself,
which is good.
Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely stole it for me. And the biggest thing I will state is, with the entire show, as much as I could probably go through the card, top to pillar, bottom, and everything, as I wanted to, you're better off, if you're wanting to read results in regards to that, please go to World of Sport to check out the results.
I was going to say, go to the website.
Go to the website.
And if you like what you see, get yourself tickets to one of their future shows and watch it for yourself, because that's the best way to do it.
Please do. I will just state this. I will state one match for this, which was an absolute stellar match. My match of the night for the World of Sport, which I'll just name 3 names and tell me if you think they could that they can produce magic. Which is, this match is a triple threat. It has Martin Kirby.
Yep. So far, so good.
Versus the prestigious one, Joe Hendry.
Yeah, he didn't come across great on TV, but anyone who's ever watched a British wrestling show knows that the guy knows what he's doing in the ring.
Definitely.
And
if anybody watches, he does know what he's doing on World of Sport, and he's absolutely talented. If anybody wants to see, I wouldn't recommend seeing Joe Hendry on the whole thing with ICW. If anybody wants to see some great Joe Hendry stuff, check him out on ICW. That is Insane Championship Wrestling. And
please do.
The interesting thing about it is absolutely brilliant wrestler, but I never got around to the third one.
You haven't mentioned who the third one is yet.
The third one.
Who is it?
Is from. He is from Essex. He wrestles for New Japan Pro Wrestling as well as World of Sport. He is the aerial assassin, Will Ospreay.
Or, to put it another way, as someone that I once knew, an acquaintance who was in the wrestling business, once put it, the indie Dolph Ziggler. I don't know if that was intended as a compliment or not. I think so.
I hope it is. But
I think what they meant by that was by the way he is flies around the ring.
Awesome at selling. Knows how to put good work in, and he does his very best every night. I'd say that's fine. I accept that one.
Yeah,
he's
okay, that's fine.
That match was absolutely brilliant. And you know what the interesting part was? Everyone think that match would be, high fly. Not all of it was. And it was absolutely brilliant.
Well, if there's one thing one accusation you can level at Will, it is he does like his high flying quite a lot. It is.
He does, but
80% of his game. So
if
he's expanding beyond those horizons, yeah, fantastic. And if he's doing it and doing it well as well, then yeah, great. Everyone wins.
It reminded me, the triple threat match reminded me of some old tradition of proper new school with old school British wrestling and American wrestling. Absolutely amazing.
Awesome.
Top to bottom, amazing. Now.
Sounds.
Go on. Absolutely top to bottom, amazing show.
No, it sounds absolutely worth watching from top to bottom, so that's good. Please get on the internet, look up World of Sport, and if they've got a show near you, support your local wrestling show.
As we always state. And anyway, let's get on to the... Well, originally we were going to be discussing the two topics, one of them being the 0 hour matches and the other one being another piece of information for UKWA. Now, I'm just going to mention this out, right? A lot of people are going to be saying why I haven't discussed this a lot sooner, and this is to do with the UKWA. Now, at times I know how I have actually expressed that I've made out I am not involved with UKWA directly, but let me just clear this point, I am. I am actually one of the owners of UKWA, just to make it very, very clear. And I have been pushing the project as much as possible with my business partner, Renee Voltaire, who both of us have been doing absolutely fantastic work together to try and push UKWA. I just thought I'd get that straight off my chest to get a clear point. I am one of the owners, and a lot of people are stating, well, if you're the owner, why have you got a GM? Here's the thing. As much as from time to time I might be at the shows and everything, it would be nice to have an extra pair of eyes to be able to see what is going on, and being able to also help manage the talents on certain times during certain moments for the show dates. But I just thought to mention that
perfectly sensible,
because here's the thing: as much as we could have our eyes and ears out on the show and everything as well, we are always making business deals and always trying to bring the latest and the biggest and latest thing for UKWA, which is the fact that one of them being is that we have recently possibly announced that on UKWA we have just announced that we are linked with Turnbuckle TV.
Ooh, that's good to know. Right then, so the show will be on Turnbuckle TV, I'm assuming,
but just
for anyone and everyone to watch at their leisure.
Correct, but it's a subscription-based website, a on-demand website. So if anybody is interested on it, you'll have to look up Turnbuckle TV, which I will state has multiple British wrestling companies on there, top to bottom. Absolutely fantastic and brilliant.
So you're quite pleased to be a part of that, I'm imagining.
That we are happy to be helping to build up putting on some of our entertaining shows on there. But let me just state, we will not be live streaming onto there as such. It will be most likely be possibly after the event has happened, but
available on demand to watch any time after the event. Sounds perfect.
It will be after the event, and most likely we will have probably, as much as when the event has happened, it won't be straight away on it. But what I will do state is we will probably have announcement dates for when it will be on Turnbuckle TV, and I will be stating there'll be potentially some codes being shared out on our social media if anybody is interested in joining and watching the UKWA.
And I'm sure we here on The Burning Truth will give you plenty of advance warning as soon as we know the dates.
As soon as we know the dates ourselves officially, myself, which as I already discussed, I am actually one of the owners. I will be most likely be mentioning on the UKWA social media page, and I will be hopefully getting it spread out via through The Burning Truth, or if I can possibly get a chance to bombshell it on here, I will try my best. But just to state, I just thought I'd just clear that up a lot, because I know a few people have stated, why haven't you stated that you're the owner and everything, and you've got Christopher Drew being the general manager. That's the reason why I thought I stated, and here's the thing. The UKWA is something that I am putting a lot of effort into, so is Renee Voltaire. Both of us are aiming to put out the very best quality of the show, and originally we were going to be discussing the 0 hour matches today, so I can get your own input in regards to the matches, and that's the major reason. That would be cool, but that's the major reason why I held off last week of me mentioning the matches myself, because if people knew that I'm the owner of UKWA, it seems a bit poignant.
You were possibly slightly worried that it might colour their judgment a little bit, completely understandably.
Or am I being biased?
Yes. Well, I can state for the record, he's not.
And here's the thing.
I can back him on that, so that's cool.
I don't want it to be the fact that I am just stating my personal views in regards to my own shows and stating it's the best thing in the world, best thing of sliced bread, and stating it's my own product. Now here's the thing.
I fully understand that, but I of course am here to help you with that.
Exactly.
You can mention it all you want, but objective eye, shall we say.
You'll be more so the objective eye than myself, so it'll be more likely, instead of us actually discussing it this week, we'll be discussing it next week, where you will get, my thoughts on the actual matches being booked in regards to, I haven't booked all these matches myself. I've also had Renee's booked some of the matches. It's been quite an interesting process to get that.
A collective effort, yeah, I'm sure. But we'll have a lot more information about what the matches are and the potential ramifications ahead of the show next week. Correct,
and I will state, not all the matches were actually planned. Some of them were quite last minute and quite. Let's just say some of them. One match was certainly brought to our attention, and we will be discussing that next week. But
this is okay.
Go on.
Sorry, do carry on. No, I've just been thoroughly distracted by something I've seen on TV, which I will mention before we finish, but do carry on. Finish what you were saying first with regards to UKWA.
That's fine. With one of the matches being the fact that it was basically, sort of got announced a bit early through our social media, which I've already met, as I mentioned last week, which is the AJ Hughes Open Challenge. The Open Challenge match for the Fusion Pro Wrestling match. I will get your own inputs on that for next week in regards to it, but
absolutely,
we'll have more on that next week. And with that, for next week, we'll most likely be mentioning how we thought the predictions went.
I'm thinking, Takeover predictions, Rumble predictions, and UKWA stuff will give us more than enough to talk about next week.
Exactly.
I've no doubt.
We've got plenty to talk about, so we'll be talking about a lot of aftermath in regards to the NXT Takeover, the Royal Rumble, and possibly be talking about UKWA in the final. I believe that will be the final episode for the Burning Truth before it actually happens. Which is on...
Before 0 hour, yeah.
Before 0 hour, which is on the 9th of February. And as always, let's just get down to the plugs. So if anybody is interested in finding out more about 0 hour, please check out the UKWA, also known as UK Wrestling Alliance. Check out all their social media and such, and you'll see all the show dates and everything in regards to in regards to 0 hour, which is on February the 9th. Please check out UK Wrestling Media, also known as UKWM. Please check out Manchester Pro Wrestling Academy, which they have beginner classes on Monday, £10 per class, 7 p.m. till 9 p.m. For actual location dates, please check out their social media in regards to that. And I've actually got some great news in regards to JG Printing and Stitching. Now, last week, I mentioned that they had a GoFundMe page because they were thinking about giving it up. They were actually considering selling the business onto, in regards to it. It seemed like it was actually, going through running further with the business, so...
That's good news, yeah. So there's not any time to give it up now. That is fantastic news. So take advantage of that, and if you've got anything that you might want design printing, you know who to get in touch with.
Definitely. And that beat either, branded t-shirts, branded jumpers, be it... embroidered polo shirts, please check them out as much as you can. And I will state, I've actually got a one-of-a-kind polo shirt for the Burning Truth that was done by JG Printing and Stitching, and it's absolutely fantastic craft, fantastic work, and I can't, say much more about them. One thing
either check out their website or popular internet search engine them, and you won't be disappointed.
They are only on social media at the moment in time. They are currently working on a website, but please check them out, JG Printing and Stitching, or, I will discuss another way of finding them as well. bit more a bit later, but let's just state this now. I'll just get these out of the way quickly. Please check out Mind and Changes UK for health and well-being, which I believe for Changes it's www.changes.org. .org.uk. Please check out that website, because the information on Mind and Changes can actually prove useful, because it's, you know, it's a subject I'm actually very massive of, which is like mental health, taking care of your, your own well-being. It is something you need to take care of, and the information that they do provide on there could actually prove useful for yourself or for somebody else. The information could prove
or for
useful.
Somebody you know, indeed.
The information could prove useful, and you never know who could end up helping.
Oh, I see. Sorry, kind of stole your thunder there. But indeed, it's something that, even if you don't think it'll help now, you never know when you might need it as well. So please check it out.
Please do. And of course, please check out Team 4-Star, always producing great content on their YouTube page. Please check out the great bands, The New Breed in Kamens. Of course, I've always got to fit it in this shout out. Botchamini! You're welcome, Matthew. I've always got, always funny stuff. I recommend everybody to check out Phil DeFranco, who's bringing news in a entertaining way. And it be either good news, bad news, funny news, sad news. He's doing it in a unique format, which he's on Facebook, and he's normally now doing 2 pieces a day on YouTube, which is Monday to Thursday, where he's normally putting the new content out, and then does his callback, basically like where he's discussing about some of the topics he's already covered that week on the Friday. And of course, please check out When Fandom Strikes, be it on TikTok or on her own YouTube page. Fantastic content, amazing person. Please check her out. Of course,
awesome.
Of course, please check out Luke Moto, who has been doing his vlogs, which I believe he's almost doing about 2 a week. He's got one out today, and he's got a new one coming out on Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken. Please check him out, of course, as always. With myself, hashtag Team Moto. And last, for the external shout-outs, please check out Turnbuckle TV, where you can get some great wrestling content on there for a monthly subscription. Please check it out. And last but not least, please always check out your local wrestling shows, especially on social media, because you can normally find out they can be giving out great prizes, great gifts, great presents, great, you could either win some competition to get some ticket prizes. Please check out, just for some example show, wrestling companies: United Wrestling, Academy Pro Wrestling, Future Championship Wrestling, Fusion Pro Wrestling for You, and many, many more. And of course, Future Shock Wrestling as well. But that's just to name a few. And last but not least, let's cover the website for The Burning Truth, which is www.theburningtruthuk.com. Where that is the website where you can be potentially listening to this episode. Be it, it's normally where you can possibly listen to us live or listen to past episodes. It's also where you can listen to past interviews, show reviews, be it either written or audio reviewed, merchandise, where we can get some snazzy t-shirts and offer, mugs that make great presents and gifts. A blog page, which I know I keep saying every week, I'll get round to it. I'm going to not stop mentioning the blog page for a while now. This is the last time I'll be mentioning it, because if I'm not going to get it done, I will just stop mentioning it until it's actually done. And
that seems fair.
And last but not least, last thing to cover, we've also got a contacts page on there where you can actually get in touch with us, send messages and everything. And of course, all the links, some of the links that I've actually already mentioned, like JD Pinching and Stitching, if you need links to them, please check it out on the Burning Truth webpage. But let me just state this: if you do click on the link and you do find anything that is unsuitable for yourself or anybody you may find offensive, just to state that is not the Burning Truth's fault. We are not held responsible. Please be advised that
we cannot be held responsible for external sites or content, obviously.
Just to state that. And to please check out our social media, which we are on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. And I will just state, all the social media is The Burning Truth, with the exception of Twitter, which I'll spell it out for you, which is WRESLING4THWALL, which is completely, I know it's a bit different, but that was the one that we had at the time. And of course, please check us out on Spotify. Can I just catch my breath?
Deep breath. I think we've got that covered now. And just purely on a random and finally note, also, internet search, if you're of that persuasion, FA Cup highlights from today, and in particular, the Sheffield United match, because I've just seen the goal highlights, and after scoring the goals, one of the Sheffield United players appeared to remove from his shirt what looked like an imitation Mr. Socko and put a mandible claw on one of his teammates. Not quite sure what's going on there, but it's vaguely wrestling themed, so get on the internet search engine of choice and check that out. Just
nice
a bit of a
bit
giggle
in.
Before we go.
Absolute nice fitting that is, and of course that is a wrap up for this week. I don't know if we're going to be back at our usual time, or if this is going to be a bit like this episode, either pre-recorded or not. However,
it all depends how much time we've got.
If it is that it's pre-recorded, we do apologise, but we will try to get it out at our usual day, which is Sunday. But let me just please reiterate this to everybody. If there is any change that is to be made and everything, we will mention it as soon as we can. But of course, as always, we will hopefully have an episode for you next week. And as always, please stay well, stay safe, and as always, please check out your local wrestling. Until then, we'll catch you later.
Thank you very much, and good night.
Good night, everybody. Stay well.